Today is gonna be story time. I'm gonna give you a little background about this car that we're gonna be building. Some of you guys seen that in the background in the shop. I bought that car about 40 years ago. Okay. That car was sitting in a junkyard in the front. Somebody had junked it because the motor spun a bearing or something. So I think it was a little college girl or something was going to college with it. She spun a bearing with it because it had all like college parking stickers and stuff on it. She painted it. It looked like they painted it with a brush or a roller or something. Might have been a brush right over the old paint. I remember my cousin, my buddy Tony Caridi. I was working at a gas station, and I was looking for a car to build. And he came in to get gas in the morning, and he said, "Hey, listen," he says, "over at Rusty's junkyard," he says, "there's a little Falcon sitting out there. You might want to go look at it." So I'll make a long story short. I bought the car, and I took it down to my dad's. My dad had a big shop barn type of thing where he worked. So we took it down there, stripped it all down, got it all stripped, cleaned it all up, and I fixed a couple little spots in the floors. And this is what it looked like. I bought fiberglass fenders for it. Had some wheels on it. We rebuilt the motor. I put the original 289, rebuilt it, put a C4 tranny in it. This is the little shop where I worked out of. It was like a row garage. It was all our buddies. That's Tony Caridi's old. He had a 67 or a 68. I think that was a 68 Dart. White one that he painted. So another friend of ours was a Camaro. That's the car. That's the Falcon I had. And it had like little 9-inch slicks on it. Centerline wheels were the thing back then. So this is Englishtown Raceway Park. And this is Long Island Dragway out in Hempstead, West Hempstead, Long Island, way out on the island. Both of those tracks are closed now, unfortunately. And we used to flat tow the car down there. Then I bought this trailer, and we finally got a trailer to trailer it down. We'd take it. We'd go down every week. Every week we were there, one way or another, someplace or another. Then a couple things went on in my life where I changed some things around. Maybe you'll hear about this some other time, but got back into the car again, and we did this to it. We ended up tubbing it. I met Tammy, Josh's mom, Josh, Annalisa, and Johnny's mom. All right. Redid the whole body. Put a whole cage in it.
That was the cage we cut out.
And this is the one we cut out. We ended up we stick welded this cage in back then. So we did all the tubbing, mini tub. Oh no, we full tubbed it. Had a full frame in it. Tubbed the car. You could see the tubs in there. Full cage. We were looking for the car to go like into the 10s. It still had a 289 in it, but now it had this 289 in it. Look at the internal. This is 35 years ago at least. See those aluminum rods? And everybody would say, "How did you get that motor to run so good?" Well, it had 12.5 to 1 pistons, right? Those are hand slugs that we bought. And this is my buddy George. This is George. I'm making some dumb faces, but that's George. That's my other buddy from back then, Al Granucci. He passed away. But that motor, that's a 289. It's only 30 over with J&E pistons. They sent us a blank slug. We hand formed it to fit, sent it back. They gave us a set and sent the crank out and got done. Used Harlan Sharp roller rockers. Had the heads done, ported. Those are AR aluminum heads, Allen Root aluminum heads. One of the first set of aluminum heads that ever came out for small block Fords. I had 2 sets of those. One's on the car now, and I got another set that's we keep
Yeah,
for
over
a
there
spare
somewhere.
that I had on this Falcon. But had a tunnel ram on it. There it goes right there. Tunnel ram, 2 4s, center squirters. Right there.
Yeah, big radiator in it.
Had a
before.
big radiator in it before. This is before you knew. Well, this is old school stuff. Handmade headers. Right, custom to the car. Had an automatic in it. Still had the stock front end in it. Okay, stock suspension, stock front end in it. 2 batteries in the back, all that good stuff. 9-inch Ford. And it looked. Then after that, I bought this truck.
Yeah, the truck actually
That
matched
story.
the color.
Yeah, that story was hysterical. My brother was going to school up in, way up in Connecticut, New Haven, Connecticut. And he calls me up one day and he goes, hey, there's a guy, he's got this flatbed in the back of his yard. He's selling it. So I go up there with a station wagon, a 77 Ford Country Squire wagon. And we flat towed it back on I-95.
Wait, you towed that back?
We flat towed it. We put a tow bar on it and we flat towed it back. Uncle Mario, it wasn't running. Uncle Mario was sitting in it and I was towing it. And we kept, and the thing was swaying side to side and side to side. And the trucks would come by us and Uncle Mario, he's waving at me, stop, stop, stop. So we pull over and he's like, stay over to one side. He goes, I could have kissed that truck, man. It came so close to me, almost took the mirror off, right? So we made it home going like about 30 miles an hour. It took us hours to get home. Finally got the truck back. And then we cleaned it all up. It had a 390 in it with a stick. It had a 3-speed in it. And we drove that thing around. Man, I had that truck for a long time. It was a 1957 F350.
Yeah,
And so it was like for a stock car. They had built it for like a stock car racing, and we just put it. We made the back come down a little bit so the car was real low, so the car would go up on top. We'd strap it down. We had big long ramps that would go on. I think there's another picture with the ramps and everything on it.
Those are the ones you probably have still
Yeah,
out in the back?
I still got those
Yeah,
ramps. Yep.
the big long ones.
And then this, shout out to my boy Tony Caridi. Easter Sunday, he paints the car for me. Painting the car, Easter Sunday, at Mike's shop. This guy Mike up the street. And then it looked like that when we were all done. The car was real nice, real pretty. Cool looking car. So it was a 289, big roller cam in it, tunnel ram. The best we got out of it was an 1120. Wheelie bars and stuff. You go ahead and get up on the bars, and it was a cool ride.
The truck was
We used to street drive it around a little bit. There's the truck with the car and the ramps. We made boxes and everything. And I have one picture with it with the ramps and everything. There's with the ramps and all on it.
Yep.
Put the ramps on the side. That's the old gas station I used to work at. PJ's Auto Service, Sunoco Station, Rye, New York. So, that's the truck all painted.
Yep.
Tony painted the truck for me too. He painted that outside under a tent. He calls me up and he goes, your truck's done. I'm like, what do you mean the truck's done? He goes, I just finished it. That's Tammy painting the truck. She used to help me do all that stuff before the kids were born. We were married for 12 years before the kids were born, so she used to be my helper. And that's it for that. We went racing that car for a long time. We had fun with the car. But because it was stick welded, when it started going faster, it went past tech. So, we ended up, and in the meantime,
Well, yeah.
this car
yeah.
spun a rod bearing, because it had stock rods in it, and it spun a rod bearing. So I'm like, man, I know what I'm gonna do. I took the motor out of the Falcon, took the tunnel ram off it, put a single 4-barrel on it, because now, years later, they started making better intakes.
Yep.
We tried all kinds of intakes. Tried intakes from, I bought an intake back then, it was called a Spider intake from Australia at the time. But the plenum was so big and the carburetor was too small and it wouldn't keep up with it.
Here, hold on. I'll get the carburetor out.
So now we got So that's the original motor still. That's the original block that came with this Falcon.
Run the stock block cut.
Yeah, we're gonna run the stock block test. I don't know about that one. Anyway, so after a lot of different combinations, and this car ran good. I mean, the Comet ran real good with it. Had
center
ladder bars in
squirter.
it. This is the carburetor we run now.
It's a Holly.
This is CNS Holly. It's a CNS modified. It's called a atomizer.
Center squirter.
Yeah, center squirter deal. Well, I mean, not a center squirter deal.
No, what?
It's an atomizer.
What?
It's a billet atomizer. It's called. So it basically really atomizes the fuel real good. But on that setup right there, yeah, it has a nitrous on it. It didn't until recently. And
Last pass was in that.
the
car.
last pass was in the Comet. We went down to North Carolina, made a couple of passes with it, and we went a 956 with it, but we were only spraying it, even though it's a big fogger system. It's only got 100 shot in it, but we only sprayed it fourth gear, the top of fourth gear and fifth gear. That's it. So, and it went a 956. So now what we're going to do is we're taking this motor, took it out. We're going to put an automatic behind it. We're actually going to order the converter today, and we're going to put it back in. Josh put a new cage in it, Chrome Moly 10-point deal in it, so it's certified to 850. And we're going to change the suspension around a little bit. All the suspension that came out of the Comet is going to go back in here. We're going to put the disc brakes back in this car, and then take the rear out of the Comet and put it in this car with the ladder bars, because we know that'll work.
Yeah. We took everything out
Everything
of the
that
other
came
car.
out of the other car. So
there's-
everything's going in this car. Gauges, wiring,
Fuel,
switch
the
panels,
old battery,
battery system,
we could have used a 12 volt for that.
everything. So everything's going in this car. And then we're gonna get the glass. We have fenders, so we need 2 doors and a hood.
We got
That's
the
the old
mold.
hood up there. That's the old front fender. We're gonna put a spoiler front fender on it.
We
with a
have the
skirt.
mold for that already.
We have the molds for all this stuff now, so we're gonna have, it'll be a cool ride. So we're gonna do the Lexan deal on this one too.
Yep.
So make sure you like and subscribe. Keep up with this project. This is the one we're gonna be working on next. Once we get the rear for this car, that's all gonna go back under there, so you'll see all that. But once we get the converter should be here in about a week or so. And then we're gonna put the motor and training and put it back in place. Engine compartment's all ready to go. We already did what we needed to do to that.
Yep.
And we'll show you what we're doing. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Check the donate button on the bottom, the links on the bottom. And have fun. Hope you enjoyed the story. Got plenty more where those came from. Stay tuned.